Welcome to Tales of Terror, the spine-chilling channel that will keep you up at night. If you're a fan of horror, suspense, and macabre, then you've come to the right place. Our channel features a variety of terrifying tales that will send shivers down your spine and make your heart race. So, if you're ready to explore the darker side of storytelling, hit that subscribe button and join our community of horror enthusiasts. We promise to keep the scares coming and the nightmares alive. Welcome to Tales of Terror.
Let's get started. My name is Amelia. Here's my story. It was a windy day in the city, with rain and thunder roaring in the distance. The streets, once bustling with life, now were a deserted and eerie atmosphere. It was that kind of atmosphere that generated stories of nefarious activities like robberies and kidnappings. I can only imagine the bleak headlines that will follow once the storm subsides and the sun rises, full of stories of crime and violence. Now, let me tell you about my husband, Jack. He is a brilliant lawyer, widely known for his expertise. But his demanding job consumes him, leaving us with only fleeting moments together. It became a habit for him to always be out of the house, whether in his office or in the courtroom, fighting for justice. I am used to this reality, but this morning was different. As the storm approaches, she pleads with Jack to come home early. I worried about his safety in the rain and thunder. However, true to his nature, he ignored my concerns and threw himself into his work, even turning off his phone. I tried calling him in his office again and again, desperately hoping for a response, but silence greeted me on the other end. Anxiety and fear gripped me as the storm raged outside, its thunder echoing the frantic rhythm of my heart. Suddenly, a sharp ring of the doorbell startled me, breaking the hold of my anxious thoughts. I rushed to open the door, my nerves frayed, only to realize that Jack hadn't used his key. "Why didn't you use your key?" I exploded in confusion. Jack stood there silently, his face etched into a prayerful expression. It was strange that, even though it was raining, his clothes remained untouched by the rain. Even if he arrived by car, he didn't explain how he managed to keep himself dry. Without a word, Jack quietly walked past me, leaving muddy footprints as he entered the bathroom. I tried reaching out for an explanation for his strange behavior, but he stubbornly kept silent. I reassured myself that he was safe, focusing on his solace. Time passed, and I finished making dinner, but Jack remained locked in the bathroom. His prolonged absence began to worry me, causing me to call him again and again. "Hi Jack, are you okay?" However, there was no answer. Out of a mixture of curiosity and anxiety, I summoned up the courage to open the bathroom door. To my surprise, Jack stood completely naked, water running over him as he stood motionless in front of the mirror. The cold in the air made me shiver, unable to understand how he could endure the freezing chain, superimposing his reflection. It took several attempts to get a response from him, to convince him to get dressed and join me again at the dining table. From that moment on, silence reigned between us. Our looks spoke volumes, as words seemed insufficient to bridge the gap that had formed. I made several attempts to start the conversation, hoping to introduce new topics and restore the connection we once had. Yet his silence and distant looks spoke louder than any words could do, causing me to feel lost in my thoughts, quietly contemplating the meal before me. Trapped in the confines of my own mind, a single question held me captive, its grip tightening with every passing moment. Jack, breaking the silence, spoke those unfamiliar words, shattering the monotony of his usual discussions revolving around work, judges, and courtrooms. It was a peculiar moment, uncharted territory in our conversations. And for the first time in what felt like an eternity, a spark of interest flickered within me. I wish you would choose to be with me and spend more time together. His words hung in the air, lingering with a certain weight. His smile, accompanied by the fluid movements of his hands, caught my attention. It was an unexpected reaction, captivating and entwined with an invisible thread that connected us. In that fleeting instant, a surge of affection and security coursed through my veins, a concoction of love and vulnerability. I couldn't shake the feeling that something extraordinary had unfolded, prompting Jack to undergo a profound transformation. However, I knew this was not the moment to untangle the enigma. The happiness and warmth that enveloped me in that instant sufficed, momentarily blinding me with any other concerns. As sleep claimed me, finding solace in Jack's embrace, his body radiating a soothing heat despite the chill of the night, I woke with the first light of dawn. The soft murmur of the television invaded my consciousness, and the voice of a news anchor filled the room. The broadcaster recounted the harrowing events of the previous night, a storm-laden backdrop for a series of abductions and disappearances. In the dimly lit alleyways, more than 8 lives had been ruthlessly snuffed out, their stories abruptly halted. Each crime scene bore the chilling mark of a scarlet ribbon, its message etched in stark contrast. Heinous killings happened last night. Then, a video unfolded, featuring a car, an exact replica of Jack's vehicle. Within the footage, a nightmarish tableau emerged, a grotesque display of violence, a mutilated body devoid of recognizable features, and blood saturating every surface. My heart pounded in my chest, and a suffocating wave of breathlessness gripped me relentlessly. But in a moment of unexpected respite, a gentle touch grazed my shoulder, accompanied by Jack's soothing voice, assuring me that it was all a horrific figment of my imagination, a dreadful nightmare that had not materialized in reality. Hours later, a solemn knock resounded at the door, announcing the arrival of law enforcement. Before me stood officers burdened with grim news. The weight of sadness was etched on their faces. Identity papers confirmed the unthinkable: Jack's untimely death the night before. His body was identified, and he was assigned the duty of returning it from the morgue. Reality is blurring, and the boundaries between fact and illusion are becoming increasingly indistinguishable. How has this twisted nightmare woven itself into the fabric of our lives? A mystery loomed, an ominous path that kept me moving forward as I grappled with the unfathomable depths of what lay ahead. A question that does not leave me from inside my house now. The situation before me was undeniably strange and unsettling, yet against all odds, I couldn't help but feel a remarkable lack of apprehension. In fact, the being that now resided within the confines of my home, sharing my everyday existence, was once nothing more than a fragment of my wildest dreams, or so I had convinced myself. When the authorities implored me to visit the morgue and identify Jack's lifeless body, I resolutely declined. A profound sense of relief washed over me, inexplicable though it may have been. Despite the jarring voice that pierced the stillness of the night, reverberating through the walls as Jack let out bone-chilling screams, defying gravity as he affixed a pot to the ceiling with an otherworldly force, or the moments when he sustained injuries without a single drop of blood staining his flesh, the wounds vanishing into thin air within mere seconds. And then there were his peculiar cravings for raw meat and his peculiar penchant for consuming frigid liquids, his unwavering fascination with standing before mirrors for hours on end. As time went by, I grew accustomed to these idiosyncrasies, embracing them as part of our shared existence. In a curious turn of events, I too found myself changing, gradually adopting these peculiarities as my own. There was an indescribable joy that came from partaking in the activities and passions of the person I held dear. It was a bond that transcended the ordinary, woven together through a mutual understanding and acceptance of each other's eccentricities. In this enigmatic dance of coexistence, a sense of strange fulfillment took hold. Little did I know that this was merely the opening chapter of a riveting journey that would lead us down uncharted paths, where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural would meld into an intoxicating fusion of enigma and enchantment. The adventure had only just begun, and with each passing day, I would plunge deeper into a labyrinthine world where the threads of our lives intertwined in unimaginable ways.
Today's story is over. Our stories are not over yet. See you tomorrow in a new day of horror. Goodbye.